So tell me a couple of client examples where you've worked with a client group, and as a result of really focusing on developing that relationship mindset and integrating the process into what they do, they've really driven the results for their respective businesses.
One of my favorite stories. My friend Larry is a manufacturer of corrugated boxes, of all things.
It's
right?
like a real commodity business.
Talk about a commodity business, right? And Larry hired our firm, and he asked us to come in and teach them to cold call. And I said, Larry, I don't teach cold calling. In fact, I abhor cold calling, and I'm surprised we're talking about cold calling. I said, we're talking about building relationships. So he says, well, how are you going to do that? I said, well, let's do an assessment of of all your salespeople's relationships. So we have an assessment tool called RQ, Relational Quotient.
So you can measure the strength of a relationship?
We can actually measure the strength and value of a business relationship.
Wow.
So we asked each of Larry's 42 salespeople to enter 5 of their most important business relationships. And what we found out was they had great scores. So I said to Larry, I said, you know, you've got great relationships. Why in the world are you still cold calling when you've got all these great relationships? He goes, well, what do we do with them? I said, well, how about asking them for referrals? So I said, what I'd like you to do is put a moratorium on cold calling for 1 quarter. Not too risky, right? And have each of your salespeople go to these great relationships and get 5 referrals. So if you have 40 salespeople and everybody asks for 5 referrals, it's close to 800 new contacts. Well, they came up with about 700 new contacts. And after the next 6-month cycle, their new sales are up 22%.
Just from asking for it?
Just for asking for referrals and not having to go through all the things you go through with cold calling, all the qualifying you need to do. If a friend refers a friend, there's almost a 70% chance that person's going to take the call when you introduce yourself.